I told my parents I won't drive my brother to school unless he is more hygienic because his smell literally makes me sick. So I'm 17 and my brother Jake is 15. Ever since I got my license last year, my parents made me drive him to school every morning because his high school is right next to mine and it saves them time. At first it was fine. We'd listen to music, grab coffee, whatever. But around October, Jake started going through this gross phase where he basically stopped showering. I'm talking about wearing the same hoodie for a week straight, greasy hair that looked like he dipped it in olive oil, and this smell that I can only describe as gym socks mixed with old cheese. The worst part was my car is tiny, so we're sitting like 2 feet apart every morning. I tried rolling down the windows, but it was getting cold and the smell was just trapped in there with us. I started breathing through my mouth the entire 15-minute drive, but even then I could taste it. I mentioned it to Jake a few times, trying to be nice about it. I'd say stuff like, hey, maybe you should grab a quick shower before we leave, or did you forget deodorant this morning? He'd just grunt and put his earbuds in. Things got really bad when my friend Emma rode with us one day because her car was in the shop. The second Jake got in, Emma made this face like she was trying not to throw up. She spent the whole ride pressed against the window, and afterwards she asked if my brother was okay because something smelled really wrong. I was so embarrassed. I realized other kids at school probably smelled him too, but I was the one who had to sit next to him every single day. The final straw came last Tuesday. Jake got in the car wearing this red shirt that I swear he'd been wearing since the weekend. It had actual stains on it and smelled like he'd been sleeping in a dumpster. I rolled down all the windows even though it was freezing, but the smell was so strong I actually started gagging. I had to pull over at a gas station because I thought I was going to be sick. Jake just sat there like nothing was happening, scrolling through his phone while I'm dry heaving in the parking lot. That afternoon, I told my parents I was done. I said I wouldn't drive Jake anymore unless he started showering regularly and wearing clean clothes. My mom got all defensive and said I was being dramatic. My dad said boys his age just smell sometimes and I needed to deal with it. I said no way. I told them I was not going to throw up in my own car every morning because they won't make their son practice basic hygiene. I said if it was so normal, then one of them could drive him and see how they liked it. My mom tried to guilt trip me, saying I was being mean to my brother and that family helps family. I said helping would be making sure he doesn't smell like a garbage truck, not forcing me to endure it. They said if I didn't drive Jake, I'd lose my car privileges. I said fine, I'd take the bus. At least on the bus, I could sit away from him. Wednesday morning, my dad had to drive Jake because I left early and took the bus. Thursday, it was my mom's turn. By Friday, both my parents were complaining about the smell and asking Jake when he'd last showered. Turns out he hadn't used soap in over 2 weeks because he forgot and didn't think it mattered. My mom marched him straight to the bathroom and stood outside the door until she heard the water running. Jake was mad at me for a few days, but honestly, his friends started sitting with him at lunch again once he stopped smelling like a swamp. Apparently, they'd been avoiding him too, but were too nice to say anything. Now my parents make him shower every other day and wear clean clothes, or he has to walk to school. I got my driving duties back and my car finally smells normal again. Last week, Jake actually thanked me. He said some girl in his chemistry class complimented his hair, and he realized it was because he'd actually washed it.